So, I was going through my attic, and I found this. I had forgotten about it completely. What I have here is a script for a movie that I wrote when I was in high school. And it's funny, I just read it from front to back. And I'm not gonna lie, parts of it are kind of corny. Parts of it are really, really cliche. And I'm not gonna sit here and claim that it's good. I'm really not, because honestly, it's probably average at best, and it's most likely bad. But I got a kick out of reading it again, and I think I'm going to read it to you guys. So if you're interested in this, it's called Calib, and it has some inspirations from some of my favorite films, and I'm sure you'll pick up on those inspirations as I read it. Don't worry, you're not gonna have to look at me when I read it. I'm going to I'll just record the audio and put it through. But no, it's I want to share it. If you guys like it, that's great. If you guys don't like it, that's okay too. Like I said, I don't think it's any type of masterpiece, but I had completely forgotten about it, and I got a real kick out of rediscovering something that I'd put a lot of time and effort into. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. Calib. The sun rises on a small blue-gray house. But as Calib comes out of his house, dark clouds roll in and cover the horizon. Cut to Calib coming around the corner. Calib sighs. We see the school and then pan around to see Calib walking toward the school. He walks onto the patio. He stays close to the far wall so he won't be seen. Cut to Memphis's smiling face. He speaks. Oh, Calib. Always trying to stay hidden. Not today. Memphis turns and walks in the direction of the back corner. He makes his way through a group of girls. Excuse me, ladies. He continues toward the back corner. His friend Brandon is in the way. Move it, Brandon. Get the hell out of the way. My bad, Brandon responds. Brandon moves and Memphis makes his way to the back corner. Cut to Andy, with a girl leaning on him, her head on his shoulder. Memphis walks up to him. He's here, Memphis said. Andy looks at Memphis. So take the boys and go get him. You not coming, bro? Memphis asked. Andy indicates Tara, the girl on his shoulder, and says, I'm busy. Memphis smiles. I got you, bro. Memphis leaves, and Tara picks her head up off Andy's shoulder. Who are they going to go see? Andy smiles and grabs her ass. Just somebody who owes Memphis money. He laughs. She smiles. And he kisses her. Cut to Calib walking along the wall. He's almost to the door when Memphis steps in front of him. Hey, Calib. How you doing? Just leave me alone, Memphis. Calib tries to go around him, but Memphis steps back in front of him. Where you going? Frustrated, Calib says to class. He tries to go around again, and again Memphis blocks his way. Where's my money, Calib? The other guys come and stand behind Memphis. Come on, Memphis, I don't owe you any money. Oh, that's right, Memphis says in mock surprise. The guys start laughing. Memphis continues, but the guys start cracking their knuckles. Memphis finishes. We didn't come over here for nothing, now, did we? There are shouts of approval from the guys, and then Memphis hits Calib. The force turns Calib sideways, and Memphis kicks out his knee. Calib hits the ground, and Memphis hits him again. They all run up and start kicking him. The bell rings. We close up on Calib's face. Let's go, guys, Memphis says. We hear retreating footsteps, and then they fade. Calib begins to get up when Memphis kicks him in the face out of nowhere. And then Memphis leaves. We cut to Calib getting into the lunch line later that day. Tara is in front of him. She turns to say hi. Hi there, holy, what happened to you? Calib responds, I fell down my stairs. Believing him, Tara says, you should be more careful. Calib laughs. You're probably right. They make their way into the caf. You know, I never see you out anywhere, Tara says. Yeah, I don't get out much. Well, my cousin's having a party Saturday. You should come. Well, come on, have some fun. Oh, Calib doesn't get to finish because Andy grabs him and puts him against the wall. What are you doing, huh? Tara says, shut up. What are you doing talking to her? You stay away from her. We were just... Tara said again, shut up, woman. Turning back to Calib. Listen to me, Calib. Are you listening? Calib nods in terror. If I see you near her again, I'll have you talking out the other side of your fucking face. Andy, shut the fuck up! He turns back to Calib. Am I clear? Inescapably. Don't patronize me. Do I look like I want to be patronized? Do I look like I'm fucking playing with you? No. Good. Andy pushes Calib to the wall hard. Calib drops his tray. Andy grabs Tara and heads back for the door. Tara looks back. Cut to Calib getting off the ground and walking away. Cut to Tara. A silent tear running down her face. Andy sees it. You're crying? For him? You bitch! He smacks her, and she falls. Cut to Calib's face. He hears the smack and turns around and sees Tara falling. Calib's fists clench, and he heads for Andy. He gets close, and then Andy sees him. What are you doing? He throws a punch, and Calib goes down. Andy grabs Tara by her arm and her hair and makes her look at Calib. Is that what you want? Huh? A weak little boy? Not even close to a man. You'd never be able to take care of you. Never be able to protect you. Defend you. Is that what you want? I'll let you go. No. That's why you'll stay with me. Cut to the exterior of a church at night. Cut to the exterior of a confessional booth. Stay strong, my son, the priest says. It's hard, Father, Calib answers. We cut to the priest's face. I know, but remember, God will not make a mountain you can't climb. We'll cut to Calib's face. I know, Father. Cut to the exterior of the confessional booth. Continue your writings. They will keep you strong. Yes, Father. Cut to Calib's face. As the priest says, Blessed are you, for your sins are forgiven you. Thank you, Father. Calib gets up to leave, but stops. Father, we cut to the priest's face. Yes, my son. I'd like to thank you. For what? Were it not for your guidance, I would not have survived this long emotionally. The priest smiles. No thanks needed, son. Cut to the exterior of the church. Calib comes out and goes around the corner. Cut to the exterior of Memphis's house. Andy pulls up in his car. Cut to the basement hangout in Memphis's house. Anthony, Jay, Memphis, and Brandon are all there. Hey, did you guys see that new girl? Anthony said. Oh, hell yeah, Jay answered. Where'd she come from? Brandon said. Well, who gives a shit? She's hot, was Jay's answer. Perfect ass, Anthony commented. Brandon said, I heard she don't speak English. Well, that's my kind of girl, Memphis said. Why? Anthony asked. If she speaks another language, I can pretend she said whatever I want. I am with the plan, Jay said. It's messed up, dude. Brandon commented. Brandon, why you gotta be such a buzzkill? Memphis retorted. Yeah, man, quit being such a hard-on, Anthony says. Andy enters the room. What's up, bro? Memphis said. Andy sits in an empty chair. Where were you? Memphis asked. I dropped Tara off. What's wrong, bro? She's empathetic. To him! Empathetic? Jay said, confused. Anthony leaned over. Feels bad. Memphis, ignoring the other two, says to Andy, to who? Calib. Andy responds, uh-oh. Memphis said quietly. I won't lose her. I won't. Jay chuckles. What did you have in mind? Andy shakes his head. I don't know. Anthony laughing. Hey, let's kill him again. Quietly, Memphis says no. Beating his ass isn't getting us anywhere. Andy stands up. Well, then let's off him. What? Everybody says. Andy sits back down. Yeah. Let's get rid of the motherfucker for good. They all looked at each other. Well, Andy says. I'm in, Memphis says. Me too, Jay says. Oh, yeah, Anthony laughs. Brandon, however, says, "Wait a damn minute. You guys are talking about killing him." Andy goes, "Yeah?" Randy says, "Oh yeah, that's real smart. Kill him, and then we have the cops breathing down our necks." Andy scoffs. "Who's gonna miss him? Who's gonna miss the little son of a bitch?" And the guys laugh. "Now what's it gonna be, Brandon?" Brandon sighs. "Okay." Cut to Caleb walking through the school parking lot toward the woods. Cut to the exterior of a pawn shop. A guy comes out and hands a knife to Andy, who is wearing gloves. Cut to Caleb walking through the woods. A twig breaks. Caleb walks a little faster. Another twig breaks. "Shit," Caleb says to himself. Caleb starts to run, but Andy steps in his way. Andy throws him back into Jay and Brandon. Caleb's notebook falls. Andy bends over and picks it up. "What's in here, huh? Maybe some love letters or whatnot?" Andy starts laughing as he lights the notebook on fire and drops it. He steps over the still burning notebook and hits Caleb. Caleb goes down and curls into a ball. "Nah, that won't save you this time," Andy says. Jay and Brandon pick him up and wrap his arms around the back of a tree. "Work him over," Andy says. Anthony broke every rib Caleb had, and Memphis broke his nose and knocked out some of his teeth. "I told you to stay away from her." He flips out the knife. Caleb struggles to speak, but says, "But I didn't go near her." "I don't care." Cut to a back view of Caleb. Andy walking toward him. He slits Caleb's throat. Pan around as Caleb falls to his knees. A wet sucking sound is heard. Caleb falls forward as the sucking sound stops. Close up on a tree stump as a knife flies into it. Cut to playground parking lot as the sun comes up. A car pulls in. A little girl and her mother get out and start playing with the ball. The ball takes a bad bounce and rolls down the path. "I'll get it," said the girl. "Be careful," called her mother. "I will," the girl assured her. And the girl goes down the path. "Mama," we hear her say. "What?" her mother calls. "Come here." Mother walks down the path, and then we hear her exclaim, "Oh my God!" We fade to a police light twirling and pan out. The police chief steps out of the car and walks up to his two deputies. The first deputy says, "Sheriff." The sheriff says, "What have we got?" The second deputy said, "Homicide, one victim, totally amateur." The sheriff just kind of shoots him a look, says, "Why amateur?" Deputy 1 says, "Well, a killer who knows what he's doing wouldn't leave his weapon." "What weapon?" the sheriff asked. "It's a simple flip knife," Deputy 2 says. "I'll take the evidence to the station," the sheriff said. The forensic lady picked up the knife with a pair of tweezers and put it in a plastic bag. She hands the bag to the sheriff. "Start with them boys the Wilson girl told you about." And the deputies say, "Yes, sir." Cut to a hospital waiting room. Joe, who's Caleb's brother, leads their mother to her seat. She is sobbing. He leaves her and walks into the camera. Cut to a long hallway, at the end of which is a door. Cut to the inside view of the door as it is knocked upon. Cut to a view over Joe's shoulder as door opens. He is led to a table on which lies a body. The sheet is pulled back, and we see Caleb. Oh, Caleb. Are you identifying this body as Caleb Johns? The Undertaker asks. This body? It's my brother, asshole. I understand your pain, Mr. Johns, but are you positively identifying this as your brother? Close up on Joe's face. Yes. We fade to black. Voices can be heard through the blackness. My flight leaves in about an hour. When we hear Joe say good. How's your mother? His father asks. The screen lightens and we see Joe sitting in the living room chair on the phone. She's not good. She's sleeping right now. Let her sleep. Okay. Cut to the dad in an airport. In a telephone booth. The loudspeaker comes on. Flight 147 to Indiana now boarding. That's my flight, Joe. We cut back to Joe. Okay, Dad. I love you, buddy. Love you too, Dad. Joe puts the phone down. We hear Caleb's voice. One thing you should always remember, Joe, is that you have to be who you are. Fuck everybody else. Because it's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not. Joe puts his head in his hands and cries. Cut to the exterior of Brandon's house, where the boys are being questioned by the police. Deputy 1 says, so Andy, you and Caleb had problems. Yeah, I mean, we were younger, but we'd grown out of that. So you guys were friends with him? The second deputy asked. No, Memphis says. You see, we didn't hang out or nothing, but we didn't have problems neither. The first deputy says, oh, I see. Deputy 2 says, we'll be in touch. Let us know if anyone comes to mind who may have wanted to hurt Caleb. Will do, officer, Brandon assured them. The cops leave, and the boys go inside. And Brandon loses it. You see? Are you fucking happy now? I told you we'd have cops breathing down our necks. But no, nobody listens to Brandon, and now we got Tweedle fucking D and Tweedle fucking Dumb breathing down our fucking necks. Andy looks at him. Are you done? Fuck you, Brandon says. Alright, we can fix this. Andy responds. How? Brandon asks. Maybe I can help. Came a voice from the shadows as the priest stepped out of them. All three boys exclaimed, Jesus fucking Christ! Brandon then says, who are you? What the hell do you want? And how the fuck do you get in my house? The priest responds, I am someone who can help you. I am here to make a deal, and I came in through your back door. Perhaps you should try locking it. Brandon says. You want to make a deal, huh? Andy asks. Yes. A you help me, I help you type deal. I'm listening, Andy says. I can pressure the cops and get them off your back, but they need to feel pressure from only me. Caleb's funeral is in 2 days. His family will be gathered afterwards. Kill them. Do what? Brandon says. The priest repeats himself. Kill them. If I'm going to get the cops off your backs, they need to feel pressure from only me. Why do you want them dead? Brandon asks. To help you. No other reason? There is the small issue of Lieutenant John's framing my father for treason. The boy's expressions are blank. Do you want my help or not? The priest says, I don't. Brandon starts, but Andy cuts him off. Absolutely. Good then. This is what we're going to do. They all lean in, and speech becomes indistinguishable as we fade to a funeral scene. It is raining, and we see Caleb's mother crying into the shoulder of Caleb's father. Joe stands beside them and watches as his brother is laid into the ground. We fade to black. The screen lightens. We see Caleb's house after dark, with the family gathered inside. Cut to Joe on the inside of the house. Sitting in the corner, he gets up and makes his way up the stairs and into his brother's room. He sits upon his brother's bed and starts to cry. Cut to Tara walking down the cemetery path. Cut to the exterior of the house, and we see Andy crawl out of the basement window. Cut to Tara kneeling at Caleb's grave. She places a long stem rose upon the center of the grave. Cut to Joe looking under Caleb's bed and finding a box with a videotape and a notebook labeled My Life. Cut to Andy running down Caleb's yard. It done? Memphis asked. Yeah, Andy said. Cut to Tara kneeling at Caleb's grave. She speaks. Caleb, I should have told you this. I should have let you know. She's crying. I loved you, Caleb. You were a kind and gentle soul in a world full of just assholes. A single light, trying to illuminate a dark world. Please forgive me. Cut to Joe walking down the stairs, video and notebook in hand. Cut to Andy walking up to a parked limo. Cut to Caleb's grave as 2 tears fall on it. Cut to Andy as limo window opens. Taken care of? The priest asks. Yep, Andy answers. Good. We get a close-up on the priest's hand. There is a detonator in it. Cut to Caleb's grave. Tara is seen walking out of the cemetery, and 2 fingers come out of the grave and touch the tears. Cut to Joe handing the notebook to his mother. Cut to priest hitting the button. Cut to mother opening notebook. Cut to exterior of the house as the house explodes. Cut to grave as Caleb's fist explodes out of the ground. The fist then unballs as the arm reaches down and picks up the rose. Cut to Tara arriving back at Cousin's house as the party rages. Cut to inside view as she comes in and walks through the living room into the back room. Her cousin follows her. Tara is crying. What's wrong? Her cousin asks. I can't believe he's gone, Tara answers. Tara's cousin holds her. It'll be okay, she says. We hear Andy in the other room. Cousin tells Tara, I'll get rid of them. Her cousin leaves the room. She is her trying to usher Andy and his friends out. Tara looks up from the floor. There is a determination about her. She wiped her eyes and stepped out into the living room. Hey, no tears, Andy says. He approaches her. What do you want? It's a little cold, don't you think? He moves closer and places his hand on her shoulders. I mean, after all, I figured you'd be more appreciative. With the little bastard gone, there's nothing stands between us. Tara is disgusted. You drunken bastard. You call yourself a man? You're not a man, you're a monster. Andy laughs. I'm a monster. If I'm a monster, don't you think it's time to run, bitch? The door busts in, and in walks Calib. Dirty, raged, and unrecognizable. He roars, Andrew Belfour! What the hell? Jay, Anthony, handle this, Andy says. Jay runs in. He throws a punch and gets his arm broken. And then his neck broken. Holy shit, Memphis, Brandon, let's move, Andy says. Anthony charges in with a knife. Anthony is killed with his own knife. Calib takes the knife. The house has emptied. He moves forward and he hears whimpering. Pan to see Tara huddled in the corner. Please don't hurt me, Tara says. I'd never hurt you, Calib says. Tara looks up and he's gone. Calib? Tara questions. Cut to the cemetery. It is pouring rain. Calib runs into frame, dropping to his knees in front of his own grave. He is crying. A hooded figure steps from the darkness behind him. Your lingering human emotions will pass in time. Calib jumps up and spins to face the phantom, poised, ready to strike. Who the hell are you? I am unknowable by nature, but I am here to help you. Help me with what? Do you believe you were put back on this planet to run amok? No, child, you have a job to do, and I am your guide. We focus on Calib's face. It's clear that he isn't quite sure about this. We cut to Andy's garage interior. Andy, Memphis, and Brandon are all there, and Andy is flipping out. The fuck was that? And how the fuck did he know my name? Dude, chill, Brandon says. Fuck, chill. What the fuck was that freak? Andy responds. Memphis says, whatever it is, if we stick together, we'll be fine. Brandon points at Andy. Fuck that. That thing wants him. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Brandon turns to leave. Memphis gets in his way. Really? You're just gonna walk out on us? Really? Shut up, Memphis. He shoves Memphis out of the way and leaves. Cut to Tara's cousin's house. The police are there, so is the coroner. The coroner loads the bodies of Jay and Anthony into his van. We see the police talking to the cousin. As they turn to leave, she heads inside, where we see Tara sitting on the edge of the bed. You okay? The cousin asks. It was Caleb, Tara says quietly. Her cousin sits on the bed and hugs Tara. It wasn't Caleb, Tara. Caleb's dead. Tara crying. I know. I just can't help feeling he's still out there. I swear, I was positive it was him. Cousin pulls Tara in close and strokes her hair. We cut to the interior of a bar. We see Brandon sitting at a table, talking to a shady-looking man. He throws down a few bills. Give me an 8. Dealer gives him the package. Man, I thought you were done with this shit. Brandon takes the package. Yeah, me too. Brandon walks into the men's room. The dealer watches him go and shakes his head and gets up and leaves. Cut to the exterior alleyway as the dealer leaves the bar. We pan around until we see Calib. He is watching. We hear the Phantom's voice. In order to find peace, you must seek justice on those who murdered you. Set in his resolve, Calib waits and says quietly, "Here, basehead, basehead, basehead." We cut to the interior of the men's room. Brandon has finished his cocaine and is leaving. Cut to camera angle over Caleb's shoulder, overlooking the alley as Brandon comes walking out. Cut to Caleb. A smile spreads across his psychotic face. "Hello, Brandon." We cut to Brandon walking down the alleyway. He hears trash rustle. He gets nervous, so he begins walking faster. A can bounces across the alleyway in front of him. He stops. "Who's there?" Brandon says. Suddenly we hear a cat scream and run across the alley behind him. Brandon jumps, turns around, and hurries backward out of the alley, cursing and panicking the whole way out. Suddenly we hear the whoop whoop of a police cruiser. Brandon about shits himself. The sheriff gets out of the cruiser. "Kid, what are you doing?" Brandon runs to the sheriff and drops to his knees, grabbing hold of the sheriff. "Oh, sweet fucking Jesus, help me. He's after me." The sheriff says, "Kid, what are you talking about? Who's after you?" "Caleb!" "Caleb Johns?" "Yes, he's after me." "Kid, Caleb Johns is dead. He's come back, and he's going to kill us. Because we killed him." Are you telling me you killed Caleb Johns?" "Yes!" "Get in the car." Sheriff grabs Brandon by the shirt and throws him into the back seat of the cruiser. The sheriff gets in the cruiser and begins driving. We pan up. We see Caleb running across the rooftops above the cruiser. Cut to the interior of the car. The sheriff says, "Kid, you gotta pull yourself together. I got paid a lot of money to keep this shit under wraps." Cut to Caleb as he stops running, slightly shocked. But his shock turns to anger. Okay, fine. The pig goes too. And he takes off running again. Cut back to the interior of the cruiser. "You don't understand," Brandon says. "Kid, shut up." Cut to the rooftop. Caleb jumps up. Cut back to the cruiser as Caleb impacts the hood, sending the car flipping through the air. "Fuck!" Brandon yells as the car lands on its roof and explodes. "You," Caleb growls. We cut to the cemetery. Tara is walking through it. She comes to a stop, a look of shock on her face. We cut to her POV. We see Caleb. We see Caleb's disheveled, empty grave. We cut back to her face. The look of shock has been replaced by one of resolve. I knew it. Caleb speaks from behind her. You always were the brightest in class. She jumps out of her skin almost. Jesus! But she was now face to face with Calib as she reached up and ran her hand down his face. He reached up and touched her. Tara, you need to leave town, Calib says. Tara becomes distraught. No, I can't leave. I just got you back. Calib cuts her off. I have to bring justice. The skies are gonna rain fire, and streets will flood with impure blood. And I don't want you here to see that. Promise me you'll go somewhere safe. She nods and says, I promise. He kisses her gently and then pulls away. Now go. She turns to walk away. She's quietly crying when she turns to speak. Calib? But he is gone. She sighs. I love you. She walks away as the camera pans up to the bell tower where Calib is crouched. Quietly, Calib says, I love you more. Cut to the interior of the cousin's house as Tara bursts through the door. We gotta go! Cousin jumps to her feet. What are you talking about? We gotta leave town. Calib said so. Cousin grabs her and shakes her. Tara, for the last time, Calib is dead. Tara shakes herself free. I just saw him. I just spoke to him. I'm not crazy. Cousin trying to calm Tara. Nobody said you were crazy. We will go. I just got to get a few things. Stay here. I'll be back. Tara nods and slumps onto the couch. Cousin leaves house. Cut to exterior as she walks to the car. Quietly to herself, she says, better to play along. I gotta get some answers. Cut to the interior of Andy's garage. Memphis is standing in the garage. Andy comes in from the house. He throws Memphis a shotgun. I gotta see the preacher. Chill here, in case that scumbag shows. I got you. Andy departs. Memphis sits for a few moments when a car pulls up. Memphis stands. He is on edge. Tara's cousin gets out of the car. What are you doing here? Memphis says. Cousin walks up to him. Where's Andy? Not here. What do you want? Some answers on what happened to Calib Johns and why my cousin thinks he's still alive. It's none of your business. Get the fuck out of here before something bad happens to you. Are you really threatening me? Memphis cocks the gun and points it at her. You tell me. You really did kill him, didn't you? Yeah, I did. And you're next, bitch. Memphis pulls the trigger. The blast is deafening. Cut to the cousin's face. She opens her eyes. As we pan out, we see that Calib is holding her, shielding her from the blast. She is in shock as she looks him in the eyes. And Calib says, run. And she does. Calib turns to face Memphis, who has turned pale white and is shaking. Calib. He slowly moves closer to Memphis, speaking. Every day for the last 6 years, I walked to that school and prayed just once I could make it through the day. Make it to my first class. Fuck! Make it to the front fucking door without you and your little bastards attacking me in some way. I want to know why, Memphis. I know you were the puppet master, making Andy and his crew go from ignoring me to trying to eradicate me. And I want to know why. We used to be friends. Memphis. He looks up at Caleb. You really want to know why? And Caleb looks down at him. Honestly, quick as a flash, Caleb reaches out with both arms and snaps Memphis's neck. I could not care less at this point. Cut to the interior of the bell tower, where the Phantom stands. Caleb walks in. How goes the struggle, brother? Only one left now. The Phantom sighs. I'm afraid not. You see, I have happened across some new information. Phantom reaches out and touches Caleb's forehead. In a flash, we are in what is obviously a flashback. We see Andy and Tara lying in bed together. Andy speaks. The kid, you just won't listen. Tara says, I know you'll get through to him. Andy sighs. Fucking Caleb, babe. He's so damn stubborn. Tara looks at Andy. Says, why don't you and the boys just kill him? Surprise. Andy says, you serious? Tara laughs. Yeah, I mean, who's gonna miss him? In a flash, we're back with Caleb and the Phantom. As Caleb collapses, almost in tears, Caleb says, no, no, no. Phantom says, I am sorry, my friend. We cut to Tara's face as she impatiently waits for her cousin to return. We hear Caleb's voice, remorseful. Why, Tara? Tara turns around. Caleb! And she runs to him, but he does not embrace her. What's wrong? Why, Tara? Why what? Why would you want me dead? What are you talking about? I would have done anything for you. Caleb, what are you doing? As much as it pains me, I am bringing forth justice. Caleb's hand plunges into her chest and tears out her heart. She slumps at his feet. Now you are the heartless bitch you've been acting like. No sooner had he said this, he doubled over in pain and is screaming and writhing, and then he begins to laugh. And in a close-up, we can see the humanity leave his eyes. Tara's cousin comes through the door. What the? She cannot finish her sentence because of shock. Caleb looks up at her, laughing maniacally, says, Hey, little girl, wanna play? We cut to the house exterior as she screams. Cut to the exterior of the church. As the priest exits the confessional, the church doors fly open. As Caleb stumbles in, he is trying to gain control of himself. He is switching back and forth from normal to insane. Father, help me. You're dead, son. Yes, and soon I will be joined by all in death. The priest backs away. Son, I think you should leave this place. Father, no. I need you to free me, please. You are beyond my help, son. Maybe I can help you, Padre. The priest backs himself into the confessional as Calib goes after him. Panicking, the priest begins to pray, Our Father. Calib shouts over the priest, Who art in hell? The priest cries, Hallowed be thy name. Calib laughing, Thy kingdom crumble, thy will be crushed. The priest crying, On earth as it is in heaven. Calib laughing, Give me the world, soaked in blood. The priest crying, And forgive us our trespasses. Calib laughing, As I disembowel those who oppose me. The priest crying still, And hold us not into temptation. Calib cuts off again, But let us revel in thine evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Calib opens his mouth to speak, but stops, quickly turning his head and sniffing the air. Andrew. Cut to close-up of the priest. Now and forever. He stands. Amen. Cut to the exterior of the church as Andrew approaches. The doors open and Calib is there. Oh shit, Andy says. Calib grabs him and throws him into the concrete wall, cracking it. Piece of shit, Andy says. Yes, you are, Calib says, grabbing him. Holding Andy tightly, Calib leaps to the roof of the church. Calib lets him go on the roof, and Andy looks up and gets knocked unconscious. And the screen goes blank. The screen lightens as Andy wakes up to find himself tied to the cross on the roof of the church. Oh God, Andy says. No, just me, comes Calib's voice. Calib plunges a knife into Andy's right hand. Andy screams, Fuck! Calib laughs. Did that hurt? Calib plunges a knife into Andy's left hand. Andy screams. He's crying. Please stop. Calib holds a knife up and inspects it. I don't think I can do that. Calib slams the knife into Andy's crotch. Andy's scream is blood-curdling. Crying squeakily. I'm sorry. Calib laughs. I would have to agree. Don't pass out yet. You'll miss the grand finale. We cut to the back view, and Calib flips a knife into the air, catches it, and slashes Andy's throat. The wet, sucking, gurgling noise fills the air as Calib turns to leave. We cut back to the bell tower, where the Phantom is pacing back and forth, talking to himself. It won't be long now. Behind him we see Calib's figure, who stops when he hears the Phantom speaking. One more innocent life taken, and he'll be trapped here forever, just like me. You son of a bitch! The Phantom whips around. Calib, I will have your head, you motherless fuck! Calib lunges at the Phantom. The Phantom meets him, and a battle ensues. As Calib is thrown across the cemetery, destroying a dozen or more tombstones, Calib leaps to his feet and charges again. This time, Calib is thrown through the mausoleum, causing it to collapse. The Phantom turns and walks away. What a waste, he says. All of a sudden, the rubble blows skyward as Calib erupts from the wreckage. "I'm not done." "Interesting," the Phantom says. Calib locks eyes with the hooded figure, and he smiles. "Your move, old man." The Phantom chuckles, then advances on Calib. The two meet in a fury of blows. A right hook thrown, Calib ducks and plants a punch in the gut, spins around him, hooks his neck with his arm, and with a deep roar, Calib rips the Phantom's head off. The headless body drops to its knees, and Calib kicks it down. He looks down at the head. "Game over," he says, and he throws the head into the camera. Cut to a back view of Calib's tombstone as Calib collapses in front of it, weeping. An angelic voice says, "Calib." Calib turns to face a blinding white figure. Calib shields his eyes. "You are not done yet, my child," says the angel. Calib looks at her, deep pain on his face. The angel continues, "There is a man of the cloth who has left a horrible stain upon it. You send him to be judged, and then we shall speak again." Cut to the priest sitting in his office. He picks up his father's picture. "Protect me, Father." "Not this time," came Calib's voice. The priest begins looking around frantically. No. Calib appears from the darkness and grabs the priest's head with both hands. "Yes." The priest is panicking as Calib holds him. "You killed my family," Calib said. "I have killed no one." "Liar. How many commandments will you break tonight? You disgrace." Calib begins to squeeze the priest's head. No, please, Father, forgive me." "No forgiveness for a dishonored father. Only justice from a prodigal son." Cut to view of the wall. The shadows are visible. Calib crushes the priest's skull. As the priest screams, blood splatters the wall. Cut to Calib's face, covered in blood. "Amen," he says. Cut to cliff overlooking the city as Calib walks out to the edge. The angel appears in the air before him. You have killed innocents," the angel says. Calib sobs. "Terror." "You were deceived, child, but still you must atone." Calib nods. "She awaits you," the angel says. Calib, his expression hardens. "What must I do?" The angel reaches out and touches him on the head. A blinding flash. And when Calib opens his eyes, there is a twinge of red in his pupils. "I have gifted you with the ability to see the fallen, to see sin and evil. You have the power to even the balance of heaven and hell. Until further notice, this is your task? Calib nods. I accept. The angel disappears, and Calib looks down at the city. We see the red in his pupils expand to his whole eyes. We cut to his point of view. We see the city covered in deep red dots. We cut back to Calib as the red retreats back to his pupils. Calib looks up. I'll be home someday, baby. I promise. Cut to the back view of Calib as he dives off the cliff. Cut to the upward view from the base of the cliff as Calib rockets straight into the camera. And the credits roll. So that was Calib. As I said, I wrote that when I was in high school. So, you know, there's a certain level of immaturity to it, you know, that I'll completely own. You know, who has everything figured out as a kid, right? But as I said, I got a real kick out of finding and going through that again. And not for nothing, for, you know, a 16-year-old dumbass, I think it wasn't that bad. But, you know, you guys, you know, feel free to go in the comments, leave me some constructive criticism if you want. I mean, doesn't really matter to me at this point. I just felt like I'm obviously probably never going to make this film. So, you know, it's just kind of fun to share it. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And until next time, I am Ken Carnage, and Carnage is, of course, right around the corner.